Your Excellency, the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, it's so good to have you join us this morning. I believe that the two earlier speakers, Temi Tokbe and Kunle, have indeed set the tone for our dialogue this morning. We expect that this will be a fruitful dialogue, and we would hope that at the end that Nigeria would have moved some way forward. Mr. President, Mr. Vice President, Nigerians indeed are beginning to put significant weight behind pronouncements of government. They're beginning to think that this is a government, your government is a government they can trust. The President made a broadcast on October 1, and where I was, I saw people clapping, I saw people standing, as we will do when our football team scores a goal. Even in America, Obama says the President is a man with integrity, and some other world leaders say he's a man with whom they can do business. We congratulate the government, because indeed we see the huge trust deficit beginning to dissipate. But Mr. Vice President, don't you think that the absence of the President at this forum, the largest and the highest forum for dialogue between the government and leaders of industry and business, will somewhat agitate some Nigerians who would have hoped and expected that the President would be here to speak from his heart and to lay out very clearly the kind of partnership that your government desires with captains of industry.
Thank you very much, everyone. And let me Okay, thank you very much, everyone. And let me first apologize for the President's absence. The most important consideration here, though, is that I am designated to supervise the economy. That's my remit. I think that really informs my being here. And I'm going to be here not just today, but also tomorrow. So I think that, that really is it. I mean, I would seriously expect that what Nigerians want to see is serious performance, serious action. And they want to see those who will be held responsible for anything, taking the questions and preferring the policies. And that's exactly what I'm here to do.
Thank you, sir.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. And having set the tone and establishing the fact that the economy is your brief, I mean, it's not for lack of trying to build our country over the years that we haven't quite achieved what we would like to as a nation. But corruption has been a major part. And in many ways, the President and yourself have acknowledged that with many different comments in different places. And we can see if there's any government that has the support of the people and credibility with the people to take on the issue and move us forward, that would be this government right now. Because I don't quite think that Nigerians at any point in time has trusted any government like they do at this point. Now, what we would really like to know, beyond the actions that are being taken now, people that are being either interviewed, challenged, or being invited one way or the other, is what is our holistic agenda to set up a sustainable plan for dealing with corruption. And we tend to think corruption is just the public sector, which is where the government seems to have focused. But our challenge with our economy and with our country, where corruption is concerned, rolls right from the top to the bottom, from public sector to private sector. So the issue is, how do we want to deal with this in a sustainable manner so that even when this government is out, we don't reverse back to where we're coming from?
I think that first, the question of corruption is one that, as you've identified, is a systemic one. It's one that has eaten deep into practically all sectors of life, public life, private, and all that. But I think that the most important thing here is that there is a determination and a focus to reverse that. Now, that's not going to be straightforward or easy. If you're looking for a quick solution or some kind of an agenda that very quickly defines in broad terms what is possible, then I can just offer one, and that is that first we think that leadership, we think that exemplifying what you want to see is what the country has lacked for a long time. In other words, there's enough talk about let's fight corruption, there's enough talk about honesty, about integrity, but I think that people want to see the leadership itself exemplifying that conduct first before you're able to say anything to others. And so for us, the starting point is by leadership, and that is government, exemplifying the conduct that it expects of the people. And that's why we think that an open and transparent government is absolutely important. We think that the president, the vice president, ministers must demonstrate exactly what it is that this government intends to achieve, which is accountability and which is a real fight against corruption. That's in broad terms. Now, we think that that kind of conduct will discourage impunity, because one of the key things you find is that there are so many institutions that expect to see direction from government, and what you keep hearing is political will, political will. Is there a political will to do this or that? So you find that the institutions, even law enforcement institutions, the EFCC, the NDLEA, the police, everyone is looking at that, is expecting to find that political will in order to be able to do their business well. Even the private sector expects to see political will. So political will is then demonstrated in the way that we carry on, in the way that we behave, and in the way that we support the institutions such as the EFCC, the ICPC, law enforcement, to do their work without interference from, without political interference. And that I think is a very key aspect of what we're trying to do. The other aspect of it, of course, is national orientation. But national orientation can't just be rhetoric. Again, it takes off from exemplifying the conduct that we want to see, our citizens copy, or that we want to see our citizens emulate. So we think that for a start, if we're going to do anything in terms of national orientation, we want to start by people being able to recognize that the leadership will represent what it says, that the leadership will have integrity, that they'll stand by their word. So that is in broad outlines what we intend to see. Of course, impunity has to be contained, and that's one of the critical things. People have to see a few examples. You can't talk about corruption in the way that we have spoken about corruption and the way that we have seen it without actually identifying corrupt individuals or institutions and ensuring that they are made to pay the price. So that's very, very important. And if people see that you cannot get away with either grand corruption or petty corruption,